All right, JW Off-Road Rear Tire Carrier. This is Adam, Auctions with Adam, Avalon Auto. There's not any installation videos on YouTube that I've seen so far, at least any ones that truly go through a legit install. So I'm gonna kind of do a follow-up one on this. Basically, remove the rear trim. If you're not comfortable doing that, do not do this job because it's not the easiest thing I've done. The trickiest part, getting these braces in here. It's hard to get any kind of shot. You can kind of see the tape I used to hold the nuts onto the bar. And then you need a really long 13, I believe it was, wrench for that side. Same thing down here. That was probably the trickiest part of it, was getting those braces in there. You can still see the blue painter's tape I used to kind of secure the bolts to the heads. So those are the braces inside. Getting those put on was probably the most time consuming, and cut my hands on these bars and whatnot. The actual mount itself was pretty straightforward. In their install instructions, the picture is kind of contradicting. So they show the picture with this bracket over the logo, but then later in another picture and on all the videos that are with people actually mount them, the bracket is right on top of the logo. And then do not pull that double-sided tape off until you are 110% sure of your placement. Because it says pull off the tape, make adjustments as needed. Once that tape sticks, you're done. That's it. You're pulling off the tape and it just rips. So I had like an 1/8 of an inch adjustment I needed to make. Ended up just tearing it off and doing it. Also, this piece, because of the double-sided tape in here, it's a really thick foam tape. I don't feel it sets all the way where it needs to, because it closes, but opening it up, you can kind of feel the tension on it. I'm hoping it'll wear itself in there. This is the tongue. The instructions for this tongue sucked, JW Off-Road. It's a bracket. Their placement was basically placing it over here. Originally I went, and there's no videos at all about this thing, but they tell you to drill out the spot welds. I don't have a spot weld drill bit, so if you do that, you may want to get it. I tried to go light on them, but ultimately popped through them. This bracket, I don't think I ever needed to take it off. There's another bracket that you do need to take off if you want that to center up on your tire carrier. Getting it installed and flattened out was a pain in the butt, but you can do it. It's got nut certs that'll pull themselves in. It asks for a 2564 bit, which nobody has in their normal toolkit, so I use a step bit for pretty much everything, which did help. Also, double check all the screws before you start working them, because they call for like 11, 12, and 13s, and the ones for these were actually like a 7/16 for it to be a good fit and actually pull. So the instructions are great to an extent. The tongue instructions weren't very good, because where they have you line it up, like you see in that picture, it shows it where the spare tire access is, but that would be way over here. And I've got my thing centered, you know, the carrier centered, and the job of that thing is to push it up and baseline it. So that was probably the second trickiest part, was getting that tongue installed. And I can feel the pressure on the pin. You know, I don't love it, but hopefully it does its job and picks it up where it needs to. So yeah, take all the trim off. I actually loosened these because I thought I may have to drill through it, but this space is so deep in here, you do not need to take any of this off. I was worried about drilling into the motor because it's right in that area. I actually put tape up the windshield just so I could see what that line would hit, but this cavity is pretty deep, so you really don't need to worry about it. Let me show you the step bit. So step bits are great. I think on those bottoms, I went to a 1532 that translated loosely to what they were asking for, a 2564. The step bit worked easier than trying to go in and drill pilot holes and second pilot holes and widen them out. So now I'll put everything back together. But I mean, it's a sweet look, but it's not the easiest install I've done. The roof rack was easier than this tire carrier, and it's a lot bigger, of course, but it's really just the access points, trying to get in here to these braces behind it and reach around while pushing them in or out to tighten these nuts. Got plenty of marks on the old arms from squeezing into that metal. So sorry I couldn't do a full instructional walkthrough, because I did this by myself today, and you know, a second set of hands would help you. But you know, it's possible to do it by yourself. Just take your time, measure 3 times, cut once, drill once, that kind of shit. But anyway, Auctions with Adam, Avalon Auto, GX build.